Hi, I'm Ben Stewart, the founder and owner of SpeechWire Tournament Services, and I am here today to talk with you about hybrid tournaments. So, I've already put together a variety of different videos talking about a variety of different ways to run your tournament. Some of those are synchronous live tournaments. That would be where students are performing in front of a camera and then judges are watching those performances live. So they might be in the same NSDA campus room. They might all be on the Yotly.com platform competing together. They might be in a Zoom call in a breakout room. They might be on an 8x8 room. It could be a variety of different ways they might be performing. Also, there are the asynchronous tournaments where performances are uploaded and then judges watch those recorded performances. But what I'm going to talk with you about is the idea of doing a combination of multiple different platforms in one tournament. SpeechWire absolutely supports that as an approach if you would like to do it. So the concept is this. The concept is that you're combining the approaches. You might be combining asynchronous for some events. So, for instance, for your speech events that are not live preps, you might be doing asynchronous, where students are recording themselves and then the judges will be watching those videos. And then you might be doing synchronous for the extemp event, for impromptu. If you have debate at the tournament also, if you have Congress, you could be doing synchronous on one of the various synchronous platforms for those events. Additionally, you could even conceptually do something where you say we're going to do one synchronous platform for prelims of our events, but then we're going to move to another synchronous platform for the finals. For instance, you might do this with NSDA Campus, where you run your prelims on NSDA Campus, but then because there are no spectators on NSDA Campus, perhaps you want to shift to Zoom calls for your finals because you could give out the Zoom links to all of the coaches coming to the tournament. And assuming you have capacity in your Zoom calls for all those people, you could go ahead and run finals in a Zoom call so you could have people spectate on those final rounds. There are a lot of different ways you could put this together. There are a lot of different combinations you could come up with. So the hybrid approach really gives you the control to determine how you want to set that up. So let's take a look at what that would look like. I'm currently logged into a tournament. You'll notice the management page looks just the same as always, but I'm currently logged into a tournament that is set to run on the 8x8 platform. So I'm going to go to Control Panel, and I'm going to go to e-balloting and video settings, and then I will say that I want, instead of running the whole tournament on 8x8, I'm going to say that I want to run hybrid. So I switch to that, and now I get some more buttons. So let's start by saying configure hybrid platforms. So I already configured this one way some time ago when I was testing to run a combination of NSDA Campus and asynchronous. Let's say that I have totally changed my mind and I want to run on a combination of, like I'm saying here, NSDA Campus and asynchronous. I'm not going to use 8x8. So this is fine. You could configure it to say I want to run extemp. I want to run, let's also do impromptu on NSDA Campus, and I want to run debate and Congress also on NSDA Campus. But I'm going to run everything else asynchronous. So I say save. Okay, very good. I can absolutely do that. So then, if I return to my e-balloting control panel, I can also configure my asynchronous groupings, and so I could change how many video URLs I want to collect. If I wanted, for some reason, to collect 3 different URLs in deck, I could do that. Totally my option. But this would now be a tournament that is running NSDA Campus for some events and asynchronous for others. So for the events that are asynchronous, coaches are going to have to submit those video URLs with their entries. But then for the events that are NSDA Campus, the students will compete using their SpeechWire account at live.speechwire.com. Judges will access their electronic ballot at live.speechwire.com for all these types of events. So it'll just be a little bit different because for asynchronous speech events, they will open up the comments page for the student and then click the link to watch their video. Whereas for NSDA Campus, they will go in to the master ballot and click the link to go ahead and enter the NSDA Campus room. Another way that you might configure this would be to say, let's say that we're going to be doing NSDA campus for our debate prelims, but then I want people to be able to spectate on Zoom the final round of debate, you can absolutely set it up this way where you're going to actually have Zoom for your final rounds of debate, but you used NSDA campus for prelims and semis, and we're still going to use NSDA campus for extemp and impromptu final rounds as well. So, as I said, you can come up with a variety of different ways to set this stuff up, absolutely. And then the other thing that I would note is that because I just enabled Zoom, I now also have all the tools on the Rooms page to go ahead and put in Zoom meeting URLs so that I can actually incorporate Zoom into SpeechWire for those final rounds of debate, the way that I'm setting this up. You would need to refer probably to my Zoom video for some instructions on how to set that up. I'm not going to go into all of that again. But this video was here to convince you that you can absolutely combine the various different approaches for running tournaments by running a hybrid tournament. As you consider which platforms you want to use, I encourage you to check out the other videos that go into depth on those various different platforms. But then you can use these hybrid tournament options to combine those and to get whatever type of configuration you want out of your tournament. So thank you so much for running your tournament on SpeechWire. Thank you for being ambitious enough to want to run a hybrid tournament. Certainly, if you have any questions about configuring your tournament, you can email them to me at support@speechwire.com. Thank you again so much for your time and for working with me. I bid you all the best as you work on setting up your tournament.